And welcome aboard. Oh, you tried it. You tried it.
I stole it from you.
You didn't steal it. It hasn't left your house. Welcome aboard, by the way, the Tabletop Express. This is Call Board. My name is Chris.
Hey, I'm Ryan. What? You're muted.
Anthony, I was muted. Sorry.
It's like a bad Zoom call. No, I'm just kidding. No, welcome to the Tabletop Express. This is Call Aboard, the live board game call-in show. If you've never joined us before, this is the show where we're going to talk about some of the games we've played over the past month. And if you want to call in and be part of a show, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that, Ryan?
Oh my gosh, I didn't set up the link. I'll do it right now.
Well, don't do it yet, but it's going to be call-aboard.com.
Yeah.
And call-aboard.com is what you can do. Go and join us here on the channel. March is coming to a close here. And statistically, I'm just checking. I've played less games than last month, but I'm happy to report I'm continuing to play more than 50% of my games as part of a similar goal that you and I have had, Ryan, of in person. So so my in-person plays have, because was very heavy over the past few years on the online play. Nothing wrong with that, but very, very much still happening, but a lot of in-person. So I was happy about that. But yeah, about 35 plays right now, which is like half of what last month was. But yeah, more than half in person. So I'm happy.
Well, I have 32 plays. And I think that was pretty good.
I'll take it.
Because it's not the amount, sir. It's the feeling. And I feel like it was pretty good for me.
I like it. What about you, Anthony? How was your month?
Well, to put things in perspective, I will say I played twice as many games this month as last month, which is 6.
Whoa.
Well, we know. So you don't have to go through as long of a list to think about what games to talk about.
I know. That's the advantage I had last month, and I'm sticking with it because, the plays are just that much more meaningful.
Right. And for those of you that want to join in, call in at call-aboard.com. It's working.
Excellent. But I guess as we wait for those to jump on in, call-aboard.com, as you mentioned, let's start with what we've played. Ryan, you want to start?
Yeah, I do. I got 3 games I want to talk about. I'm going to go in alphabetical order with the first one. All right. So I'm going to talk about a game that I played right after our last Call Aboard. And that is a little game called Deckers. Where is this? Right here. So Deckers came out last year, 2025, designed by Richard Wilkins, aka Ricky Royal on YouTube. Hang on. The banner's blocking your face, Anthony. I feel bad.
I look about the same.
Art by Lucas Sigmund, publisher Deep Print Games, but the edition I have is from Pegasus Spiel. And this is a primarily solo-only kind of game where you are working as a hacker trying to hack into the evil corporate system. And it's done so in a hexagon board, similar to, I guess, Mage Knight. And I say that because it only has a hex board, but also it's got a deck building aspect as well too. Because what's going on is throughout the game, you're going to be playing these different cards out, and you're going to be upgrading cards, matching of the same symbols. And what's cool about this is when you upgrade a card, you toss an existing card from your hand to upgrade that to that new card, and you can play that new card right away, which is really interesting. It's a game where it is best solo because just like Mage Knight, you're constantly thinking about what is the most optimal move. In addition, though, it's got a pandemic feel because there's these little black circles on the board called sparks, and the sparks act just like pandemic, where if there's one, it's bad. If there's 2, there's worse. But if there's 3, all the sparks and anything on there gets removed and it turns into what's called a guardian. And if guardians get hit, they they spread out like in Pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Or if you have a guardian next to another guardian, they infinite loop and the game instantly ends.
Yikes.
Oh God.
So you don't want that.
No.
If it gets hit. And what's interesting about this game is it comes with it's modular beyond belief. Okay, there's 10 different characters you could play as. The map is modular. It's these 5 different 6 hexagonal shapes that you put together. And you're deciding how the board's going to go. You're deciding what character. You're also deciding what boss you want to fight. And if you want to make that even harder, you can. In addition, anytime you fight a boss, they set up a deck of cards for different objectives to achieve. So as you go on in the game, like here, let me see if I can find that objective deck. It is right over here. Here's the full setup. That's nice. So on this top right area next to Alpha Moby, which is the boss, there's actual cards that you're going to be completing with different objectives. So it's like, have this on this space and have this on this other space. And then if you achieve it, great. If not, it's not terrible. But then it will get to a point where it is, because the last one you have to complete or else you lose the game. There's a lot going on in this game. And I played, how many times I played 5 times of Deckers this month. And every time it's so easy to get to the table, and the modularity of it just makes it insane. So I'm really digging it. I don't know. I think I would try it at 2 if you guys are ever interested in doing this one. But yeah, it's awesome. It's a really fun one.
The way you describe the Pandemic vibe, but with the deck building, intrigues me. But I can also see why this would play really well solo based on your description.
Yeah, it's a lot of like sitting and planning what that best course of action is. It's not as intense as Mage Knight for sure. Mage Knight is a bit more dense, but this has a lot of cool stuff going for it.
How long is this? How long is a play of this?
It's pretty accurate. It says it's an hour to hour and a half, and that's really accurate. My plays have been generally that. And honestly, it could go like I've gotten plays where they're around an hour, but I don't think I've exceeded maybe 2 when that was like the first couple of plays where I'm like kind of learning it. The rule book is not is a better reference book than it is a how to play book, for sure.
Okay,
but I still enjoyed it thoroughly. So
nice.
Yeah, try Deckers, especially if you like solo gaming. Very, very solid solo gaming experience.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd like. This sounds interesting. I wouldn't mind trying the solo on this. Not that I wouldn't. I mean, or we could do the 2-player, and maybe I'll do solo after. We'll see if the 2-player holds up. So, I'll actually kind of take the point from there to talk solo, because you mentioned a solo game, a solo experience, not necessarily just a solo game. And I was actually diving back into our review shelf. Now, I technically have talked about one of these before. We talked about them some ways back, but we realized on our review shelf a copy of Kinfire Delve's Scorn Stockade. Scorn Stockade. Now, I don't remember exactly what I said about Kinfire Delve the first time, to be honest, but this second dive into the game, and as I've evolved kind of in my solo play, I came to really enjoy this experience. Now, I played through 3 games of this, and I used both characters that are in the game who have slightly different abilities, which is part of that asymmetric vibe with the game. The core gameplay is you are trying to get through this well deck, and the well deck is pretty stacked, but as you defeat things in the well, you are going to have the ability to thin out the well deck. Now, I want to note two things are happening. You're playing cards, and then you can boost the cards up to 2 of them. The cards you are attacking have to be the same color of what you're going for. The boosts have multiple colors in some cases. And then there is a dice rolling factor. And I think this is where some people, it might lose it for some people, because the cards alone aren't going to dictate it. You can do certain things with the cards to take the hits down on the baddies or the events or whatever you're fighting. But you're going to have to roll the die. Now, certain cards are going to let you maybe re-roll. Other opportunities exist in there, but you're able to, do that and have an opportunity to get re-rolls in. But again, you have the dice in play. So I just point that out, that I don't know that I loved the first time around, but I have warmed up to it since returning to it, to the point that I've really enjoyed the play. The biggest challenge I had with this game, I'm not going to lie, was I think it was the second or third game I played. There's a card in this particular deck that refills the well. And I don't think I misplayed it, but I ended up having to refill the well twice. And needless to say, I wasn't winning that match because the well kept filling up and I wasn't getting to the bottom.
The cards that you've already gone through, you have to put back.
So there's a card that took the discard or the stuff that I defeated. Well, no, it wasn't necessarily that I defeated, but you're clearing out the well. So there's this pile that's happening next to see that big draw deck, the biggest one.
Yeah,
you're essentially thinning out the well. So you're saying when you defeat someone, if you go to one of the close-ups of one of the baddies, there's symbols on it that'll help me kind of explain.
This sounds like it's the same plays the same way, as the other. It
plays similar. It plays the same, but I'm enjoying the characters in this one a little bit more.
That thing is hideous, so I hope it's not that you've fallen head over heels.
Oh my god, no, that's a baddie. But do you see if you defeat that thing, it's got 12 hit points.
What a looker.
Yeah, if you the one up there, but that one, if you defeat it, you're gonna clear out 4 cards from the well. So that's nice. But again, I kept running into this one card that kept putting everything I cleaned out of the well back into the well. I was like, what's going on?
That's awful.
That is awful.
But overall, I was really enjoying it. I'm going back to it. I'm actually really intrigued because I've only played this solo, I realized. And now I'm kind of like, what is the experience like with 2? Because it moves very quick, to be quite honest.
Well, you can play as one character or you can play as both, even solo, right?
Yeah, you could two-hand.
Yes, you can two-hand it, but I'd be interested in a true legit 2-player. So
yeah. No, I remember enjoying this game. Not this one, the other one, Confire Delve.
Yeah.
But it definitely being challenging for sure.
I won 1 and lost 2. But that second game, that card that kept coming out, because again, it's a new deck. There's different things in it. So it's very different. Now I could bring these new characters into the first game that we have the copy of, which is Vainglory's Grotto. And there's a third one in the series as well, which we don't have access to. But just wanted to say I got it out, I played it, and I have warmed up to it significantly since then, and it'll pop on my table here or there, I think, now, because it really moves pretty quick. I can get a game in 30 35 minutes, to be quite honest, at this point.
Can you use the characters from the other games? Are they
interchangeable? And that's the other thing. I can mix I do think, like, if we had the third copy available to us, I would be mixing up and trying one from the first and the second and the third and etc. So
cool.
But yeah, I enjoyed this one. Like I said, the one card was killing me, but the fact that it kept coming, I kept getting it, was the worst part, because the possibility of continuously getting it was also just bad luck, to be honest. And that's part of this game. You're going to deal with bad luck and you're often going to lose, and that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So yeah, I thought this was
price
a lot
point's
of fun.
great too. You're looking at 20. Price point is pretty great too. You're looking at $20 for a solid solo card game,
and the
with
art
gorgeous art,
good quality components. Yeah, beautiful artwork.
Yeah, So yeah, component wise, you guys are right. It's gorgeous. Yeah, really liked it. That is like I said, that is the second game in the Kinfire Delve series. Incredible Dream Studios does this one designer, Kevin Wilson, and that art. There's a bunch of artists on there, and so I don't know who did each thing. Obviously, I'd love to, but I will just say, look at that art in this game if you have a chance. It's gorgeous, and it really grabs your attention.
Cool.
So yeah, that's Kinfire Delve Scorn's Stockade.
Well, speaking of beautiful artwork, the first game I'm going to talk about is no stranger to the channel. In fact, the designer is no stranger to the channel. He's been on here more than once, and that's our friend Andrew Styles. I played Wine, which I know we've talked about before, but I wanted to bring it up for a couple of reasons. One, I taught it to 3 new people who had never played the game before. We actually played twice, and it was a 5-player game overall both times. And you know, this was one of, if not my favorite game that came out last year. Like I said, we've talked about it a lot. If you know nothing about it, it is a very simple yet elegant card collecting game where you're going to be bidding for these different bottles of wine. So the bottles of wine cards have a value on them, as well as a country of origin, a type, and then, as you can see there, a scale of these 8 different numbers that go from left to right. The way the game works is you get dealt 8 cards. Everyone's gonna have the same cards, and you also get a client card, which shows you which wines you're trying to get more of to get more points. There will be bottles in the middle of the table that are going to be up for grabs, depending on how many players there are, and everyone takes a card from their hand and will secretly bid. And then when everyone's ready, you flip it over the cards. Whoever bid the wine card with the highest value gets first pick at those wines that are in the middle of the table, and they add it to their cellar for their client. And the next highest does that. The cool thing is, though, those cards that everybody just bid with become the bottles that are up for grabs. On the next round. And so you go through this process until you have a stack of these 8 cards. Now, when you take the wine bottles, you have to add them above or below what you currently have. You cannot put them in the middle. You can't rearrange bottles. And the reason for that is important because one of the ways you get points is by determining which point value is in the spot of the bottle that you put there. So meaning your first bottle in your stack on the very top is going to score points for the first spot on its row. The second bottle, second spot. So at the end of the game, when you have all 8, you're going to be scoring this sort of diagonal value from top left to bottom right, in addition to some extra points for whatever is on your client's preferred list. The other reason why I wanted to bring this up tonight, because this is very cool to me that this happened. So in the game, like I said, you get these different clients. I have the small promo pack for this game, where one of the clients is Andrew himself, is the designer. And I randomly got dealt that card, and I was like, sweet, I get to play and make, Andrew's cellar. And in that game, that second game, I managed to collect a perfect 8 diagonal from top left to bottom right. So every bottle was at maximum 8 points. I got a 64 for
Oh my gosh. For what?
Diagonal cellar score. I ended up getting second place because then still got kind of a beat by the other clients there. But yeah, there it is. There it is right there.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool that I was able to get that perfect row for Mr. Styles. I wish I could have won for him, but second place. Yeah, it's still good. Wine Cellar still hits very well and is well received with everyone that I teach it to. So it remains a game that I will take out very often with crowds up to plays up to 8. Chris, I know you were talking about trying to get someday that 8-player game because you scale the cards. So in the 5-player game that I played, the values on the cards are going to max out at 45, whereas it goes higher, obviously, if you have a full player account.
That's the reason I want to play that really large game, because I want to see all the cards in play. I haven't had that happen. A lot of my games are 3 and 4-player games because I'm playing. My wife loves the game. It's one of her favorites. It's probably, if she was doing a top 20 list, in her top 5, to be honest. Like, that's how much she loves it. But I haven't seen a lot of the stuff that's in the game, because I mean, I've seen it, but I haven't played with it. So
I mean, it's not like there's like secrets that you haven't seen. It's just more it's more bottles.
No, more bottles, but I'm just intrigued by the gameplay at that level. And I do think, to the point, you played it with people who've never played it before, right? And it's a game people grasp pretty quickly. So it's easy,
like I said, we played it twice back to back, because it's very, very short.
Yeah. Awesome. No, it's always fun to talk about Wine Cellar. I appreciate that one.
Nice.
Got it.
Marcel's gonna pick it up, it looks like.
Well, I don't know if Marcel talked about that, or he's talking about, because Rachel mentioned, I didn't get to play much, but I did play Flamecraft Duels. So I think he's talking about Flamecraft Duels, which, if you guys have not played, is fantastic. I really love. I still haven't played Flamecraft, and I know Flamecraft Duels is not Flamecraft, but I love Flamecraft Duels. It's a stellar game.
Cool.
So, but it has a solo mode. That's why it was nowhere near. It probably would have been on my top 2-player only list if it was 2-player only.
Ineligible.
Ineligible.
I actually made a mistake on that list, though, that I need to address at some point.
Why? Did you have a solo variant that was on there?
No. I realized I somehow closed a field on my Google sheet and neglected a game, and I feel very bad for that game. So that's all. Yeah, Pagan was in a corner, and I must have closed the field somehow. So Pagan should have been on the list.
Pagan hates you now.
Awesome. It looks like, by the way, we have someone coming in on the back end here. I'll make sure that their video is showing up before we go ahead. But Ian, by the way, in the house, and Rachel, of course, saying she loves both those games. So we're gonna give Joseph a chance here, because I see I do not see video yet, so we're gonna give him a chance there. Marcel, by the way, pointing out he was talking about Pagan, so I'm going to bring this up. Pagan needs more plays with the new sets, and that I agree with, because Capstone naturally sent me a few additional sets, and I did not have a chance to play all of them yet, and I want to. But I'm going to see. I don't know if
let me hop in my number 2.
Yeah. We're hopping in your number 2, and then we'll hopefully they can get back in.
All right. I'm going to talk about a game I played off my Shelf of Shame. I've had this game for quite a while, since the second wave Kickstarter came, and that is Ether Fields. So Ether Fields, published by Awaken Realms, and designed by Michael Orax, or Michaelo Orax. I apologize for mispronunciation. This is a game where you are... Okay, I don't want to be around the bush. I really dislike this game, so let's just get it over with.
You really dislike it? Is that what you said?
Disliked it. This game was abysmal. Okay, it was really, really bad. The miniatures are great.
Like when you don't enjoy a game, I like to hear you complain.
All right, look. Yeah, all right, I'm going through page 2 right now of miniatures, and I still haven't got to the effing game. So, where, you know what I mean? Okay, look. Here's an example of gameplay for Ether Fields. Okay, so in this game, you're like, I don't know, in a dream world thing. You're in a dream world thing, and by the way, I play with the upgraded 2.0 rules. So for those people that care about that, I play with the 2.0 rules. So my viewpoints are based on the 2.0 upgraded rules.
Up to date. That's good.
Now, so you're gonna go through a scenario where it's like some weird dream world, and you're gonna be fighting some bad guys, and you're gonna be playing different cards that will let you uncover different parts of this story-driven app, and like, it was just bad. It was exploration done in the worst ways. The rulebook is unclear. The game encourages you to walk through the tutorial app to fully explain the game. However, the app is not great at all. So, like, and it's not great because it's walking you through but not really teaching you. Like, yeah, I'm grasping some concepts and sure, but when it was ready for me, time to go, that's when it was issued, because now we're getting to points where there's discrepancies between, in the app it's saying, well, if you have version 1, do you see this? If you have version 2, you see this, and now you can go on and go to the shop. And I'm like, but we haven't set up a shop. There's nothing in here about shops. And the thing is, they tell you, don't worry about the rule book, just go through the app. But the issue is, those rules were in the rule book, and it's just like, you're chaining me around all over this place. Okay, you're chaining me around. I finally get to the second one, and it's just nonsense. It is just like, you know what this game is? The story-driven portions of it feel like bad fan fiction. Like, I'm back to like a live journal story in a board game.
You're dating yourself, Ryan, with live journal wrestling.
And then you fight these bad guys. And I got the basic pledge of like close to $200, and it's like, oh well, if you're gonna fight these wolves, you have to grab the wolves. I'm like, where are the wolves? Oh, they're not miniatures that come with this game. There's a separate miniature pack that has the wolves. So I have this little cardboard shit for this nearly $200 game. BS, complete BS. This game was awful. Avoid it at all costs. You can get it at a really cheap price because it's on my shelf to be sold. And I'm looking at it now. There's other people there that are selling it pretty quickly too. So I had an abysmal time with Etherfields. I'm sure there are people that like it. It's got 7.8. That's pretty good. Mine's about like 6 points lower than that. So yeah, this was exploration done wrong. Etherfields.
Oh man. Well, it does look like he has miniatures. So for someone who wants to paint miniatures, at least it's got that.
No,
right?
just no.
There's
none.
There's none.
No. Awaken Realms. No. I'm no.
Well, with that note, we're gonna go to the callers. First up, we're gonna bring in Joseph Z. Chen, who was just on the channel, by the way, recently for Creators Corner. So we're gonna bring Joseph in now. Hey there, man. How are you doing?
Hey, everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Howdy.
Thanks for taking my call. This is kind of fun doing the live thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we love it. Been doing it a while now, so it's kind of old hat, and I don't know.
Nice.
I couldn't do it any other way, but intrigued what you've been playing. What's been hitting your table? I know we talked recently, but what games have been on your table in this past month or so?
Yeah, this past weekend I was at GameStorm in Portland. So it's 4 days of gaming, although I got in like late Friday. Managed to get in the month of March 36 plays for 29 different games. So that's pretty good for me.
It's very good.
Better than 1906, I guess. But I think this is how some months are, right? It helps when you go to a convention, though. You can knock out a bunch in the I think the ones that were interesting that stood out to me is Power Vacuum, which I think was is a Kickstarter game. It's a trick taker, Off with Their Heads, which is a
let me pull that up too.
The Roll and Write, and Emberheart, which is kind of worker placement. But Power Vacuum was interesting because usually I don't like trick takers with like an extra thing, because usually the extra thing ends up just kind of like dominating the flow of the game. But it was quite interesting. The little twist here is that there's like you move energy from these different let's see if you can find a picture of the dial, kind of like this circular thing.
How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there's these like you move power from zone to zone. Everyone's got a secret agenda. You can see on the bottom right. This person wants to get most power into the brown zone and to get the least power into the red zone. And so you do get some benefits for winning the trick, but really what you're trying to do is most of the time try to play the lowest value card you have for the trick, and that lets you manipulate where the power goes.
Interesting.
What's interesting is that some of these agendas are secret, but you get more points if you reveal them earlier, and you kind of end up forming these like inadvertent alliances with other players because maybe their agendas line up with yours. So It's pretty cool. And the player that seemed like they were losing ended up coming back for a win at the very end. So it's a game
that's nice.
where it's a lot of the scoring is quite crazy. Sometimes you'll score like 14 points in one round, and sometimes you'll score 0. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always looked so intriguing when I saw this at PAX Unplugged a couple of years ago, and it just the box art alone and the pun, because you're playing as vacuum cleaners too.
Oh
right?
yeah, the appliances thing, the art style, and everything is pretty cool.
It's
pretty unique.
it's so funny. Yeah.
It reminds me like the Brave Little Toaster.
Oh yeah,
It's like a little communist vibes here, I guess.
the communist little toaster.
There
it is.
What's cool also the little power plugs. They're magnetic actually. It's kind of a fun component.
Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, and weirdly enough, the points, every 10 points you get one of those statue pieces. And weirdly enough, like even though it's just tracking points, it's I don't know. Oh wow, this must be a deluxe version because we didn't have the wooden pieces; they were chipboard. But just building the statue, mix and matching the pieces you want is pretty fun.
That
looks awesome.
No, I love trying a new trick taker. So I've kind of I started playing. I feel like the last year and a half, I've just become obsessed with trying any trick taker I can. So I got to put this on the try list.
There has been a lot of them. So
yeah, it's a hot trend. A lot of them seem like it's so complex to the point where it's hard to actually get into the trick taking part, because I feel like a lot of trick takers, your hand is pretty random. You need lots of rounds to average over to feel like you're actually like feel like you're in control, because sometimes in games like for instance Arcs, you play I don't know how many hands, like, and that hand takes a long time to play out. If you dealt with a bad hand, then you're stuck for quite a while. But this one, once you get into it, it's not too bad to get through the rounds.
Yeah, I haven't played Arcs. It's still on, so it's a good point of reference because I have not had that chance yet. I've heard plenty about it, but haven't played it.
Yeah, I find it, at least the trick taking part, a little divisive. Some people love it, some people don't like it. Because it is, I think Arcs is basically a 4X game, right? So it's a bit more involved. If you dealt a bad hand, then you feel like you're stuck with a bad hand for quite a while. Yeah.
Room for, if you got one more you want to talk about, you got room. Anything else that kind of stood out to you? By all means, you've got room for one more here.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned. Well, here I'll talk about. That was a new game to me, but I'll talk about a favorite game of mine that I love to play at conventions. It's called Good Critters. It's not new by any means. I think it's quite old actually. Good Critters, one word. It's the reason why it's good for conventions is you need, I think, a minimum of 4 players. It's like 4 to 8 players. I like the feeling of it is like a social deduction game, but without the social deduction. You get a lot of the social aspects, a lot of arguing and yelling, without needing to feel like you need to hide anything from people. And I know that's a part that turns off a lot of people. Yeah. So the theme of the game is everyone is part of divvy up all the money and all the loot. And then players vote on whether they like to split or not. And it's just not possible to split the loot evenly. So there's going to be arguments about who gets what. Ultimately, the boss decides what the split is, but people will vote yes or no. But instead of voting yes or no, maybe you want to rob someone, or you want the same time while trying to convince the boss that they should get a better cut of the better split of the loot. So it's interesting tension, because like if you want someone to not vote yes, you can threaten them and try to convince them to suspend their action to guard themselves instead of voting yes, and means stop the split from happening. So it's pretty good time, especially with large player count. People are just constantly threatening each other and trying to make deals and stuff like that.
That's cool.
I haven't played this one. That does sound like a good convention game, though. Stupidly.
It reminds me of Dragon's Gold. Have you guys ever played that game?
No.
No, I haven't.
They're basically like, you have the same set of cards if they're different heroes, and you're playing them to these dragons that have a threshold of points that you're trying to defeat. And then whoever's involved with, once it finally goes over that point value, whoever was involved in that battle splits the loot, but there's like a timer. And if you can't come to an agreement on how to split it before the timer runs out, nobody gets anything.
Oh man.
So it sounds like this has like that aspect with like almost a little bit of Sheriff of Nottingham, wheeling and dealing kind of thing. So this is interesting. I think I might like this because what you said about social deduction for like without like the social deduction part, that's kind of where I'm at with social deduction games. I don't like lying outright, and I'm not really comfortable with it all the time.
Well,
Yeah, you don't feel like that pressure. You're hiding something for.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some bluffing elements. You're like, I'm going to rob you, but I'm not actually going to rob you. And you could play it straight. You could play it straight the whole time and just never rob anyone and potentially be successful. So, yeah, and it's interesting too. You get very different bosses. Some people will try to split it completely even. I like to create high drama situations, so usually I'll pick my favorite 3 people on the table, and then I'll only give them money, and no one else gets money, which usually backfires on me when eventually I'm no longer the boss, and then everyone just cuts me out.
Is this a type of game where like every player gets to be the boss once or twice, and then that's like
it depends on the dynamic. So if a no vote succeeds, it's actually the first player who voted no becomes the next boss.
Oh,
so you kind of have to like descend and then be successful, and then you become this. So it's almost like a shifting of the regime a little bit,
So it's when you want to say no. I like that. That's really interesting. You kind of you want to get control. That's the only way. So
yeah, it's funny too. In the rule book, it says the player who owns the game gets to be the boss first, which is kind of cool for a while, but then you realize there's quite a bit of pressure, and you end up making lots of enemies that way when you're the boss. So I stopped following that rule, so I just couldn't.
Well, yeah, because if it's your game, you're.
Did you play with your copy?
I did. Yeah, I'm always the one who brings it because I don't know. It's a kind of an obscure game. I haven't seen it. Anyone else play it really?
Nice.
I'll look that one up for the future.
I love those convention kind of games. It's just there's something special about playing. Like I have some games in my collection too where I'm like, this is only for conventions. Like we need, just this is a wild, wacky thing that convention only. So it's fun to hear about Good Critters because now I got to keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah. It looks like there's plenty on sale on Board Game Geek for what it's worth. So
there you go.
Awesome. Well, Joseph, thanks so much for calling in. And again, I want to thank you for joining us earlier this month on Call Aboard. And, congratulations on a successful Kickstarter as well. I know, obviously, you've both, that was in great shape when we were talking, but looking forward to seeing Honey Pot in people's hands sooner rather than later, hopefully, for everyone so they get a chance to play it. And like I said, I had a chance to play a little bit, or at least get that demo from you at PAX. So I'm sure as we get to PAX, maybe we'll see you in person again, which would be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll see you then.
Awesome. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks. Sweet.
All right.
Before we jump over to our next caller, because we got Ian waiting in the wings, Marcel has a question for you. If it does at least come with wolf minis.
Come on.
Sorry, I had to. It was too good. It was too good. All right, let's bring on in Ian from Will's Plays Games.
Hey guys,
how's it going, Ian?
It's going good.
Well, you know what it is. It's the end of the month, so that means we want to know what you've been playing. And I know you always come with some good games to talk about. So, looking forward to what
just
you
got done with a game of Vantage. I in Discord with a friend before this, so just got done. We had an epic victory in like an hour and a half.
Nice.
We actually I had I got to build a casino, and then the destiny that I got when I did one of the things on the casino was having that type of building. So I'm like, okay, well, we have the destiny, and my friend was already in a city, and we had to conquer a city. So we just waited for him to conquer the city, and he got the Destiny. And while I was in the casino, I dueled twice playing Skirm, got a personal Destiny, actually got that Destiny finished as well while we were waiting for him, because we had to get enough stuff, because he had to roll 9 dice 3 times in order to conquer the city. We did have some overpowered tokens that did that. So we just got done with a really good game of Vantage. I had not played it since last
You
summer.
just proved that the house always wins, my man. Good
For the
job.
record, just to show my appreciation, this sits on my desk because I'm always ready for a game, and it's all it's all
your
ready.
Vantage bento box.
Yeah. I didn't think about it, but yeah, I got that.
Nice.
And I got my little Eddie had printed out.
Oh,
me.
nice.
I got my own Aviska, and then it's all here. I'm ready to play.
So, speaking of which, are we playing tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll message you after. We're gonna make it happen.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, and before I move on to my games, Joseph, I'm very much looking forward to Honeypot as well. I did back that. So I'm very excited about that. It kind of leads into our theme of the month on our wall is flat out and AEG games. So we've been kind of playing through a lot of our flat out and AEG games today. I played a few games of Propolis, Solo, got Cascadia to the table again with Landmarks as well. We also got Deep Dive to the table, Guild of the Merchant Explorers. I got to the table the other day. We did some content for a game currently on crowdfunding, Neopia Quest. Kind of a dice mitigation game where you have some missions and you have to do some dice things with it. We did some stuff for Ghostfire Gaming last year for Companion Quest, which should be fulfilling hopefully next month. They've had some hiccups and some stuff. And we got a couple other games at the table. I got some good stuff, some fun stuff at my board game club this month. Played Summer Camp, Junkyard Revolution. I got played. Nice. Components in it are really nice, really good pieces. So the kids really enjoyed that.
Did you play the first Junkyard?
I have played Junkyard. We have not the original. We have like the second edition, which has like the plastic pieces.
Yeah.
Junkyard Revolution has is more of they feel more wooden than the plastic pieces we have. So the kids had fun playing that. They've got some new stuff in it, like some gold, like some extra scoring in game, which I will probably take out at Board Game Club. I may even take the cities out and just tell them to each take a color and just randomly, flip the cards of their color, because it'll just be easier than them having to learn all of the rules for each city and how to score each city. Some of the kids will be able to do it. Some of them probably it'll just be more fun for them just to kind of try and build.
Do you think it's a necessary improvement over it? I'm asking because I'm debating buying it. So is it a necessary improvement over the first Junkyard or the second?
I don't think it adds. So it adds some different scoring things. Like every time if you place, like there's these cards that you can put out that add some extra scoring within the rounds.
Yeah.
So like it's like one of them that I looked at, which we totally forgot about because I'm not used to playing with those. And it was like something like if you place the active piece and it's not touching any other pieces, you get an extra point. So there's like that. Other than that, it's really just the cities and the same. And I think the scoring in the cities might be a little bit different. I don't know. I'll have to look at the cities and see how it compares. I don't know if you've got Junkyard, if you need this one.
Right.
This one was sent to us by the designer for my board game club. We around Christmas time, someone was looking for another one of his games called My Singing Monsters, the board game, which was based off of an app. And this woman was looking for it because her nephew who had gone through chemotherapy and stuff, like that app helped him through chemotherapy and stuff. And he even dressed up as the characters for Halloween and all this stuff. And I just happened to be on the Board Game Geek Facebook's page at the right time. We backed the game. The game is not available. It never went to retail. We've played it a few times. We enjoyed it, but it wasn't one that we needed to keep. So we sold it to her for a very good price, like way under what we paid, and backed it. And the designer happened to see that. And he says, if you need anything, let me know. So he contacted us. I'm like, you know what? I was just our honor. And then I happened to see that Junkyard Revolution was his. I'm like, well, I would not mind this game for my board game club. Like, I don't need anything for us. So he sent this, and then he also sent us a copy of Cats Knocking Things Off of Shelves, which we are keeping in our collection.
Nice.
So that was pretty nice. So yeah, so got that played. But the one I really wanted, well, and then we got we started a new series that will be going up this Friday. I think I got to timestamp it and get our thumbnail up, where we are revisiting our collection A through Z, talking about the games, talking about what we, just what the games are, what we think about the games, and which ones we're going to keep and which ones are going to be leaving our collection. So we played Azul Stained Glass of Sintra like 3 times because we had not played it for a while, and we wanted to see, like, is this one going to be one of the ones that we keep? And you'll have to wait to see if we keep it or not. But so we did get that table. But the one I want to talk about, which is one that we started the month with, and we played all 10 years of the first side of the map, and that is Cozy Stickerville.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely love this game. I talked about Layers last month, and that one is probably an early contender for top 10 game of the year already. This is another one that is going to be a contender for top 10 game of the year. We played through one full side of the map. We played all 10 years on it. There's so much more stuff to do. Very excited to play the next 10 games on the backside. I'm already planning on probably buying a second copy, because even after we've done that, there's no way we're actually going to see all of the people you might be able to put in, all the buildings you might be able to put in, and also complete all of them, because some of them you have to like do like 5 or 6 times and do an action on 5 or 6 times as you're doing them to completely complete them. But there's some really cool things that we saw. We had one guy, some strange guy, come into our land. We let him stay. Some stuff happened. Some other stuff happened. We let some other guy come on and build. Basically, we were like, okay, we just let a cult leader come onto our land because he was building like this temple. We're like, okay, we now have a cult in our land. It ended up turning out really, really cool. And there's some other things, but like we had stuff that we were able to put in that we weren't able to finish. And we can't do those same things when we play the backside. So I want to play this again, either, like get another guy, either play it solo or play another, full 2 sides with Stacy, and do some things in different orders, do some things that maybe we wouldn't normally do. Because we played everything very nice in this one, but it'd be kind of interesting to be like, well, if we tell people they can't stay or they can't and they have to leave, like what might happen. So it is so cool. And the way they did it with the stickers, and like you're putting stickers down and you're overlaying things and you're kind of building out this village. Like I said, we started the month and we basically played it for a week straight. We would do a session, we would take a little break, then we would do the next year. Then we would like eat dinner, then we would eat like there was one night where we did one right away after work. Then we ate dinner. We did another year. We took Sika around the block, played a third year. So it was like 3 different sessions in one night. And there were some nights where we played 2 sessions. We would take a little break in between, go get something done, and do another one. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the next one. Like you said, this is another one that is going to be an early contender for a top 10 games of the year. It is just so much fun. And I'm looking forward, like I said, I'm looking forward to playing the backside. I'm looking forward to probably buying it again at some point and playing it 2 more times. Each session is maybe 30 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to make your decisions. So on your turn, you will basically, each year has 12 cards. You'll flip a card, and then you'll do something on the card, and then you make a decision. That is your turn. And then you can do an action. Basically, you'll do something on the card. It might have you do something. It might have you lay it down, because it might be something that you can build later, or a person you can invite to come onto your land later. But you need certain resources, either the food, the wood, or the gold, in order to do some of these things, or the ore for some of these things. So you have to build those. So you'll have a whole bunch of stuff on your in front of you that you can possibly do, and you won't get to them all. And then you can, the next time you play, one of the options may be done. So you can do the other one if you want, or you can just completely ignore that card. So I would say it was about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on, as we went on and we were trying to figure out like, oh, wait, if we do this, how is this going to affect other things? So you kind of start talking about like, how is this going to affect other things? If we do this, or what do we think might happen? I would say 30 minutes a session was pretty was pretty much on average is what it was. It doesn't take long. There's only, like I said, there's only 12 cards per year. So it does not take very long at all.
And it's a $40 MSRP, I think I saw. So it's not like buying a new copy in terms of, as far as Legacy goes, it's not the worst price if you wanted to get another round. And technically, as you said, you've got the front side, but then you could play in the back. But I'm based on what you're saying. Is the back map different then?
It's like, slightly different. So the back of the map, so there's two maps. So here's the one we did. So there's the board. So you can see the river and stuff on that one, and there's a ledge on that one that's raised up. And then the back side looks like this. So the back side has just a big river, but then there's also this big like spot over here on the side that's lower than the ground, or that's above the ground, and then this one's really high. So yeah, and then there's a lake down here on the side. So both sides are a little bit different. The cool thing is when you start building, you can only build on one side of the river until you get a bridge. So at some point, and it tells you like you can only start on one side of the river. At some point, you can build a bridge so you can start building on the other side. So you have to be very careful. We got lucky. We chose the right side on the one we chose because it was the side that had more space to build. And we're like, let's start on this side because we don't know when we're going to be able to get over to the other side. And we probably would have been a little too constrained on the other side, honestly. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, 10 sessions beginning of the month. Looking forward to playing the backside. Looking forward to playing it again later this year. That's like 40 sessions total. And it really got me excited to kind of play some more games like this. So because we both really enjoyed this, I ended up actually buying My City. And so that one's sitting. And then I think I'll probably later this year, at some point when Stonemaier has their games out, either in May when that stuff comes out, or in August time when their stuff comes out, or maybe the end of the year when the Smoking Bones game comes out, I will probably end up getting Charterstone as well, because I really kind of just really like the story and being able to kind of like play through the story. So
yep.
Well,
awesome.
You just helped me decide what we're doing for my son's spring break. So there you go.
It is absolutely wonderful. Paul from Dads and Dice has been playing with his 6-year-old daughter. And he just posted about it. So he just posted about it. He's been playing with his daughter and stuff, and like he'll pick her up from school. He's like, can we play the sticker game? Can we play sticker game? Yeah. So it's just great, So yeah, we really enjoyed it and looking forward to the playing through again. Yeah.
Does it allow for other players to hop in and out?
What was that?
Can other players hop in and out? Or
I think you just might have to catch them up on like what things are on the board already. But you could pop in and out of this one easily. Like if you started with like 4 people and then someone missed a session and then you came back into another year and they were back or something, you just have like, okay, this is what we did last year, and just catch them up. Because as you're doing things, like you may have put something in and you may have finished it, and it may have given you some things, and you're going to want to catch them up. Like these people came in, this is what we're doing. We finished off the farm or the bank or whatever it is, and this is what happened. These are some goals we ended up getting, some rewards. So just you're going to want to probably keep just catch them up just quickly on what you did during the last session, but that'd be very easy.
I was just curious because my 3-year-old's probably going to want to jump in too with stickers.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Yes.
There's plenty of stickers to go around with other resources. You can find some random stickers and give her.
There's 800. It says, or over 800.
Yes.
Well, Ian, you've also convinced me that I'm eventually going to have to get this too, because I've been thinking about it, and
we have a little bit of this from PAX. We do.
That's
have
right. We have a mini quick play version, right? Like like almost like a round. We have to see what that looks like when we try it all out together. But awesome, Ian, thank you. And as you mentioned on Will's Plays Games, your topic this month month has been
this month on our wall was flat out and AEG games.
Yep.
Next month we'll be doing our video this upcoming weekend for that. This year we're showcasing publishers. This this Friday, probably we will have our revisiting the collection where we talked about all of our games that start with the letter A. And then just today, I started a March Madness bracket. I looked at our top 68 ranked games according to Board Game Geek, and I put them in a bracket, and I have them in 4 regions, ranked seeded 1 through 17. I did post a video today that showed the brackets, as well as I did the opening round. So there were the 16 and 17 seed in each bracket had to play in to win to get into the full bracket. So I did post today the brackets or a video that showed the brackets off, as well as the 4 kind of opening round games. And tomorrow I'm gonna film the rest of those, so I'll have those kind of coming up sporadically here over the next week or so. I'll probably do the first round. I'll do 1 bracket at a time because there's 8 matchups each. Yep. And then the second round, I'll probably do 2 brackets at a time. And then I'll probably do the entire Sweet 16 and then probably the Elite 8, then the Final 4 and championship all in one or something. So
that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ian. Appreciate it. Appreciate you calling in pretty consistently. I know that we're always looking forward to what you played. And obviously, we'd love to hear about Cozy Stickerville. So thanks for calling in.
Thanks. See you guys.
Bye. Good night.
Ryan, we should note that we had a bracket going.
We did have a bracket going. Are we announcing the winner already?
I think.
If not now, when?
Oh my gosh.
We have such a good lead into it. Maybe we should have.
All right. Closed? The voting's closed?
The voting's closed. The voting's closed. There's already a winner has been determined. So our bow tie bracket update. So this is where we ended up, right? It came down. So on the left side was this is all Reiner Knizia board games. Designer of what? Probably over 800 different board games, right?
Yes.
The left-hand side are all games, the top games that he published within the 20th century. And then the ones on the right, 21st century. So it's the battle of the centuries, metaphorically speaking. So it came down to Ra as the 20th century pick, beating out Tigris and Euphrates, versus the Quest for El Dorado beating out Battle Line, and also beating out My City, which was just announced today. So that was the final matchup, the final 2. Any guesses on a winner? I know, Anthony, you voted. Hang on. Anthony, I saw you voted for this one.
I did.
In multiple places.
I always pull for the underdog, so I have a feeling Ra was going to win, so I voted.
They're both very good. Hang on. Whichever game wins right now is a very good. They're both excellent games.
Yes.
I would say they're definitely top class, each of them. But go ahead, Barros. Announce the winner.
Well, the winner, and it was not surprising to me knowing our community, but our community weighed in very heavily on this one towards Ra. I got to give credit where it's due, by the way, because when you talk about publishers, 25th Century Games was really good also about making sure they cast their vote, because I saw Chad had voted on this.
It makes it sound like they fixed it.
No, they didn't.
They did not.
It dominated. It dominated without them, but they were consistent. They knew it was going on, and I did appreciate that they were participatory. But I noticed something.
What?
They didn't vote in the matchup of 25th Century Games versus.
Oh, right. There was the matchup between Ra and Tigris and Euphrates.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny because I saw them voting. And again, I didn't mean it was like 5 of them voting. It was like 2 people, but it was just funny to me that matchup happened and nothing. And then of course the grand finale, and but Raw dominated honestly in that final matchup. It was kind of hands. It was easy to decide at that point.
So now we need to live stream a play of Raw, correct?
Ooh, really?
I thought that was the whole thing. No,
I don't know. I would love to. Yeah.
We did say if it was a game that we owned, we would plan a live stream around it.
Raw is what we own.
Yes, though we may have to push that into May because next month is a big one, which we'll get into. But I'll just mention it now. Next month, before we talk about some games, is our top 20 month. And that means actually, what is it? On April 2nd, we hope you all come back because guess what? Someone's doing their top 20 list. And Ryan, I believe you're kicking us off. So
I am. Boom. Look at that.
Whoa!
Clickbait. Don't click this yet. Clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah, top 20 series as of April 2026. Top
Yeah. I
20
know that
board games
game.
of all time.
yeah, we
You
know
do.
that one.
You
We
do. It was
know
on
that
my
one.
top 20 list for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Well, but and speaking of games I love, this is a new game I love that I want to mention really quick here as we kind of at least talk about one more game each. I want to talk about a game that we both played, Ryan,
Ooh.
and I ended up buying it after we played it. And that I'm not talking. There's
we played a bunch of
Wait,
games.
so Ryan
Go ahead.
owns it also?
No.
no. We're gonna get to that one if you're thinking about what we're thinking. There's multiple things we played together. But I wanted to actually talk about a game called In Front of the Elevators. And this one, we had a chance to play, and I like a small box game that just relatively simple gameplay that hits the table, and just you get the game and you get going, and it's just a good time. It's just I don't have to think too hard, but there is enough depth of strategy in this one that, well, it's not a brain burner. It was just something that gravitated to me.
It's a line fuddler.
Yeah. In this one, though, you were going to start with 2 cards. Now it does vary if you play with 3 players versus 2 and 4 players. I've played it all counts now, but you're going to start with 2 cards, and you are going to have these people who are in front of the elevators. There are rules on how the cards play, however. If you notice on those elevators, you're going to score points based on the cards that are within X amount of spots. So, for example, that one right.
Let me find it. Oh, there's a weird version. It's like a monster version.
Yeah, that is like monsters. But you
That's
see, all
okay.
of these have 3 spots. So the first 3 cards are going to score points. But each elevator also has symbols in it, which means those are going to have multipliers, meaning you're going to get double the points for
based
those.
on the type of person.
Yeah, so if you're in the first spot and you have one of the people on the card, and say it was a 4, but it might be times 2, so now you're getting 8 points for that person, even if that's your only one in the row. You're going to play this over 3 rounds. It's a really interesting game, though, because the cards have to get played in certain orders, based on who they are. Certain people go in front of certain people or go behind certain people, and then there's the lost child, which you see in that bottom right. And then the lost child comes in and takes a card of that color and pulls it all the way to the back, which can be such a brutal moment when you're just this close, and then there goes the card that takes my card all the way to the back.
The colors represent different players, by the way.
Yes. But even though they represent different players, you, as you're pulling cards from piles during the game, are able to pull the cards of other players. It's of colors. That is. So just because I'm yellow doesn't mean I'm not going to pick up a green card. It's it does not necessarily mean I'm always looking for mine in those moments. Because strategically you're not always going to be able to anyways. Sometimes none of your colors will be face up in the piles. But honestly, it was a quick game. I enjoyed it. It just it for me, snappy, and I took this home, and one of the reasons I want to talk about it, similar to what you were talking about with Wine Cellar earlier, Anthony, I said I got this and I think you're really going to like it, to my wife, and this was a game that she just wanted to keep playing, and we ended up playing it over the course of a day. We did a round at a time, which I thought was really nice about it too, because it was a quick reset, boom, we had our score tracked, and we played it over the course of a day, and went in and out of stuff, which you can't do with every. I don't feel like I can do that with every game. This one, it worked really well. But yeah, this was a hit.
It's very trippy.
Yeah,
it's a very trippy kind of game where you can mess with people a lot. But also, the thing is, you can mess with people, but sometimes the card draws are just going to mess with you. And the board situation there may not be something that you want to play down. But
especially it gets towards the end.
Yeah,
because you sometimes you're lost child. There's a lost child out there that's can pull your card all the way to the back, And the question is, who has it? Because you don't have it, which can be daunting.
Question brought up too if there's a recent U.S. publisher. I'm looking right now, and it looks like the version that we played was from 2023.
Yeah.
But the game was released in 2019. So yeah, I don't know if there's a recent reprint of it, but
Yeah, I'd have to check.
it was at the local game shop.
It was over at One More Game in Livingston, New Jersey, near us, and they had one copy left, so I grabbed it. It was $19 for the record. It's a good price point as far as I'm concerned, and
I think you would like this one a lot, Anthony.
I think so too. I've heard. Yeah, I know a little bit about this one. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, because it's a tableau kind of card game, but everyone shares the tableau and everyone's messing with the tableau.
Yeah,
so
it's fun. Again, I'm happy to show this to anyone. It's enjoyable for sure. So yeah, this is in the collection now, and I'm very glad about that because it's gonna get a lot of plays.
Yeah, cool, good pick.
Yeah,
excellent. Who's up? Me?
Yes, sir.
That'd be you.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about Viral. Viral is a game from, I believe, Arcane Wonders. That's a few years old at this. So it's part of the Dice Tower Essentials. So I'll do that, but I don't know, sort of under the radar, I guess, for the most part. This is an area control action game where you're playing as a virus, and the board is, basically the internal organs of a human body. It has these different organs that are then, sort of split up into, there's these different zones. So like the stomach and like intestines are all like one zone. The heart is one zone, but it's got, the left and the right. So it's technically they count as like two different organs. Same thing with the lungs. And then you got the brain, which is just one thing. So you're going to be playing cards in sort of like a pair. So everyone starts with the same 5, kind of like basic actions, and then one of each zone card. I believe there's 6 zones. Yes, Osmosis Jones, pretty much. That is the guide, for sure. And so everyone will, select a pair of those cards, one action with one zone, similar to what we said before, like in one cellar, everybody picks it face down, and then when everybody's ready to reveal it, and then first player is going to do their thing first. And so you'll do things like move between these zones, which, gets a little hairy because on the board itself, there's all these routes that go from one organ to another, but there's directional, lines that you have to go in and abide by. You can't go against the grain. So there's not always, a way to go from both spots.
I see.
Plus, you're playing that card one time, and then that's kind of like out for that round, right? So if you play a kidney card, you're not going to play another kidney card. But because you can move and also attack other viruses that are in the same organ as you, and then there's like even more abilities like magnetize, we can pull viruses to you or push them away, and then you can absorb all the viruses within the same organ and just kind of like stack them all underneath you. It had been a while since I played this game, and I taught this at the same event that I taught Wine Cellar at, and it plays up to 5, and I wanted to actually specifically play it at 5 because I hadn't yet, and I thought, I always go to Ryan, I always go to your kind of like mantra with El Grande, right? Play at the max player count. And this has, this similar kind of vibe to it. I think it went a little long at 5. In retrospect, I think maybe 4 might be like the sweet spot. But this is a really enjoyable game. And there's just a nice level of take that and planning. And you never know what's going to happen because there's also like a random event that's going to happen every round where, you might get extra points for going to this particular organ or whatever. But basically, through every round, you're going to score, zone by zone. Who's got the majority here? You have to have viruses present in, all parts of that zone to get, points for that. So you have to be in both sides of the heart, not just one side. And then a lot of these scoring sections, which are kind of random actually, will get you points, but also there's this research track. And so you'll move up on that track. And if you ever get to the top, basically the doctors find this cure for your virus, and all of your viruses will be removed from the board. And then you start, kind of start again. So you're not like out. You just have to, collect your kind of like your virus tokens. It's got this like Ren and Stimpy art aesthetic. Like kind of graphic-y, but not like totally disgusting. But it's got that's good. That's good. That's a good image right there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this one. This was a lot of fun, and I have to say, I believe, so I played a 5-player game. I believe all 4 people besides myself had not played this yet, and they all seem to really enjoy it. This is, again, kind of a little under the radar, but a very cool take on area control where, it's all about the bodily functions, so to speak. That's viral. Nice. You guys ever played this? Probably not, right?
No, I for the longest time, though, I've had that promo for it, like the Concrud promo card.
Oh, nice.
Do you own this game? You can have my promo card if you own it.
I do own this game. In fact, I actually have an expansion that I've never played for this called the Hive, I think, which adds asymmetrical virus powers.
Oh, that's cool.
Based on the virus that you pick. Because
there's but can you a Concrud promo card for it?
Yeah.
It's an event, I'm assuming, right?
It was. I saw it in one of the pictures over somewhere. There's a picture of it somewhere when I was looking. Right here. Yeah. I think the guy on the right's supposed to be Vassal. Yeah, Vassalitis.
Yes, it's Vassalitis.
Right.
That's awesome.
Wow. But that's supposed to be Concrud. Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah, so you start with the same 5 like basic actions, but you can see in that other picture, there's one of the things you can do is along the score track, there's 4 is that when you pass or get to that point value, you get to draft a new mutation card to kind of add to your repertoire stuff, which are usually more powerful. They either give you more actions or more like choices between actions, and a lot of them actually have end game points as well.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah, I'd try this out. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think you would like it.
And you gotta have my cards when we play it.
Sweet. And yeah, if we ever played, I think I would just throw in that expansion.
Yeah.
Some player powers for sure.
Ryan, before do we want to go through do a speed round of one more each, and then really quickly, I would love to ask if we can make sure that we also just give our quick thoughts at the end of this on a game we did play, unless that is your next game.
It's not. We can do it now and just get it out of the way.
Yeah, I did want to make sure we talked this out because we didn't really give our full thoughts after and mind you, it's one play, but we had played a review copy of Orbit by Bitewing Games.
There's a Reiner Knizia design.
Correct.
And tying in with the bracket.
Yeah, the art was, of course, Vincent Dutrait on this one. We did a live play for this that you can check out if you're interested in terms of how it plays. I'm intrigued by your thoughts. I could summarize mine fairly efficiently, which is
do it.
I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a solid game. It did not do anything that blew my mind by any means. It felt like a Knizia game. The gameplay was simple enough and easy to pick up. And it was a race. We were trying to race around this board, get to all these places, and then ultimately get home. Ultimately, for me, it was a solid game. It was not a game that I would have personally rushed out to buy either, but I would definitely have no issue playing the game. And if it would be a game that if it was on discount and someone likes the theme, sure, maybe. But I was, after one play, it was a good, not great game from my perspective.
Same. I mean, the game is very it's a very much racing, pick up and deliver kind of thing, right? You have to go to all the planets and then come back to your home planet. What's interesting is the players manipulate the planet movement, right? Anytime you want to go, you play a card and it's going to tell you what planets are going to move, and you'll notice they're going to be on these different tracks that have this different arrow pointing, and that's the direction the planet will go. But then there's actual actions where you could mess around with things. You could rotate and flip different planets,
and sometimes, and you do have to the thing that I really did like was that you were upgrading along the way, which allowed you to have more
increased players.
And you had that control to some extent, but some of the planets were the ones that had the things that maybe you really wanted, like filling up your deck. I think I was focused way too much on filling up my deck and not as much on the battery. But when it comes down to it, it was interesting, that control component. And it was cool when you ended up, all being on a planet and the planet was moving and you're trying to get one way and someone else wants to move it another way. So it did have those interactions that I thought were a lot of fun.
It was cool to manipulate when you're on a planet to move that planet and then fly off that planet to go to another one. It's very much like it's a lot of move optimization in this game,
My biggest frustration that I just want to note is sometimes I really had to double check the board to make sure I was moving the piece in the right spot. Was I moving it down the right line at times? Because there were certain spots where the lines started to almost fade out. And artistically, I don't know if that was what they were going for. But I just sometimes I wasn't exactly sure. Oh, is there a line? Oh, wait, yeah, no, here it is. It was little things like that impacted maybe taking a moment. It's not a big deal breaker, right? But I do wish the lines were clearer in certain spots on the board.
The one annoyance I had with the game is that it comes with cards that have symbols that are related to the expansion that's not included within the game, which took me aback a little bit, because I'm like, well, that's kind of annoying. And they have in the rule book the expansion rules, but there's no expansion in this box.
But you ignore the expansion symbols on those expansion cards.
Yeah,
all the same.
It was a little annoying
because there are, and this is actually a thing I did. If you look at across all of these ones coming out, the expansion rules are all in the one book, but they don't come with the expansion. So you could look at it both ways. You could look at, great, if I get the expansion, it's already in the book, but then does it make you want the expand? So again, but this seems like a thing that a lot of their games have at this point. The rule book has all the expansion information.
But I think this game is, I could see this just being more like a try kind of thing. If you're really into the theme of, I don't know, it doesn't really convey the theme though.
No, I
really.
No, I mean, but I think the gameplay was fun. I would play the game if someone says, "Do you want to play?" Sure. It's just not the pick up and deliver in space game that I'm rushing to.
But the thing is, I liked it overall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I agree. I mean, this was, to me, it was a solid game. But when it comes down to it,
when it comes down for Racing Knizia, I mean, Quest for El Dorado is fantastic. Winter Circle seems, I haven't played, but it looks amazing.
It's just not the best Knizia racing game. It's the bottom line,
right?
So
if this was anyone else's design,
right?
I would probably talk higher about it. But he's,
But that was Orbit. Again, we did have a review copy of that one, so I want to make sure we're incredibly clear. We are grateful for those opportunities, so thank you to Bitewing Games on that one. But yeah, that was Orbit. You can see our live playthrough of it and find out if it's a game for you. And if you want to see a live playthrough, I'll drop a link in the description after this one wraps up rendering. So
Anthony said he'll be right back.
Awesome. You want to talk about one more?
I do, and I want to remind people, by the way, if you do want to call in. Oh, hi, Anthony. There you are. If you do want to call in, last call at call-aboard.com. The last call. That should be a thing. How do we do that? Last call? I don't know.
Do we need a jingle?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, I already tooted your whistle. So, all right. My last game I want to talk about is another game off my shelf of shame. This one is a game that I bought with the expansion and have played with the expansion rules because I heard that if you're gonna play Fallout the board game, you got to play with the Fallout expansion.
Was this what you thought I was going to mention before? Because I don't count what I did.
No, I thought you were
Okay.
gonna-
No.
Orbit was supposed
Okay.
to-
You thought, or I'm just making sure because technically I
you
got
didn't
to
play
see this game.
Fallout. You
No, I
didn't
got
play.
I got to help you for a turn. That was
Yeah, you got to tell me
and
for a turn.
and I'm grateful for that.
Okay, so Fallout, right? This is exploration done well with asterisk expansions and some house rules. And Fallout is designed by Andrew Fisher, Nathan I Hijack, and the expansion I need to highlight is Fallout Atomic Bonds that was designed by Dane Beltrami. So in this game, right, it is Fallout, the video game, right? You're in Nuclear Wasteland. If you've never played it, Nuclear Wasteland, you're trying to complete different objectives, and it's really just open world sandboxy kind of thing, right? It's just fun. You collect money, you collect weird, quirky things, and you do different quests. Yes? And I say this because the only Fallout video game I played is Fallout 3. And I love the aesthetic of Fallout. You know, you have post-apocalyptic, retro-futurist 1950s. Gotta love it all, right?
Yep.
What I don't love is when I play Fallout 3 for multiple hours and it has an autosave feature, and then it decides to autosave at a spot that I can't get out of. And anytime I go back to the autosave, it's just I'm stuck between a boiler and a basement with all the stuff I've earned with no way but to go back to the beginning of this game I spent hours on.
Welcome to Bethesda.
Yeah.
You gotta save your own files along the way.
No, thank you. So out of the two Fallout game properties I've played, the Fallout board game is a massive success improvement over that. Okay.
Can I point out one thing that's really, because I love Fallout. I love the games. New Vegas is probably my favorite, but the board game, what I did appreciate, because I got to see you play it and I double checked, you flip certain tiles over and the world becomes Fallout 4. And then the other side, it's Fallout 3 because it's DC.
Whatever. It's all canon.
But I appreciate the fact that they give you that they did work two worlds into it. So I want to note that I did like that. What I took away from watching you play it and kind of watching you did a few turns for me was it felt like Fallout. Everything I saw looked and felt like Fallout. And you had choices and you went on missions and you could easily get distracted by things. And that is part of Fallout. And so for me, that was only from like 10 minutes, right? That's my 10-minute observation. I have not technically played it. I want to co-op with you though. That
you should, because I played it 3 times so far. I played it once solo and then twice 2-player. And it comes with this massive deck. This is a massive deck. And the deck, by the way, these first 2 are from the first base game. There's 160 cards that have different events and encounters. And then there's a whole other separate deck in the New California, harder to get, crazy expensive expansion. Because this is unfortunately a board game that's tied to an intellectual property where the publisher no longer owns the rights. However, if you are desperate enough, like myself, you can get a cheaper copy of it in Japanese and have it shipped to your house for a cheaper price than the actual English copy. So
is that what has occurred? That
it has occurred. It's coming next week. It's kind because end of the day, the components are the same, you know. So yeah. Anyways, what's cool about it too is that you have a player board that has this really intuitive upgrade system. So this is your Pip-Boy board, right? Because they wear like that thing on their arms.
Oh yeah.
And what's cool is you're gonna have what's called the special. It's an acronym for I don't know something. And you have a little XP tracker on the bottom of your special track, and anytime you level up and gain XP, You move along that track, but you only move where you have letters. And what's great is you start out with 2. So when you start out with 2, right, you go to the end for your next one, and you draw 2 new letters, and you have to choose one to add. And now now it takes 3 to XP, then it takes 4 to XP, then it takes 5.
Right.
Very brilliant leveling up system in a board game.
So
very intuitive.
my one question about special, because like for example, C stands for charisma.
I
think
see.
S
I
is
told
strength.
you, just
But like
endurance.
But
or
like,
something.
does
Yeah.
the C actually help with a charisma based thing? Then
Great question.
Storyline.
Great question. The answer is yes and no. Because a lot of the times you'll see the different items you have, and if they have the letter, like this has an L over here, this trusty sidearm. If it has a letter that is on your special, when you're doing skill tests with that weapon or with that item, whatever, if you have that letter, you could re-roll those dice, and that's crucial because you're only rolling 3 dice ever in the game. And a lot, and they're all multi-use, right? So it'll tell you what part of the bad guy you're targeting, because you have to get a number of hits to shoot that guy, but also the number of pips on there. You see there's like a little notch pip over there, pip over there, pip over there, but on this side there's no pip. Those pips indicate when you're doing skill tests, and also when the bad guy's hitting you, how much damage are they hitting you for. Really interesting, really solid usage. And the expansion adds the companion die, which is great because now when you're fighting bad guys, if your partner is in the same spot or one spot adjacent with a ranged weapon, they could join in the fun and start blasting too, which is great, you know? So look, I love this one. This one, I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. And I hate that I love it as much as I did because it's really hard to get. So encouraging people to get it is very tough. But I will say this. It is a lot easier to get the base game and the Fallout Atomic Bonds expansion than it is the new California one. I don't know if it's worth it. I will find out when it comes.
Well, let's find out, because I love Fallout.
Because
Fallout is one of my favorite IPs.
The biggest thing, by the way, right? It takes all the base game and most of the expansion scenarios and turns the game to a cooperative one, because the game is not a cooperative board game. It's a competitive one unless you play with this expansion. And a lot of people turned off by that vibe of the game, because the game is hard enough. And now you're fighting each other too, trying to go up against each other. And it's just, you don't need that in this kind of game. Because the thing is, end of day, right? Maybe it works better in the video game, but this is a board game, and what's important is to understand adaptation and bring it into that level. Like Battlestar Galactica, the board game, is, I think, a fantastic example of adaptation from, property to board game. It feels just like the show. Fallout, it does feel, you do have feelings of the game. It evokes a lot of those feelings, but at the same time, it understands at the end of the day, this is a board game, and you have to have some solid mechanics that work well on the table. Not everything in the video game is going to translate so easily. Even Slay the Spire, very exact.
Slay the Spire was what I was thinking of. It's just
the adaptation is fantastic. Well. It has the essence of it, but without the crazy calculations, and it just strips it all down.
Transition.
Yes.
Speaking
yes. I haven't backed it yet. I'm still debating if I'm going to back it, to be honest, or just wait till retail. I have the retail edition of Slay the Spire, and I'm going to get the expansion. I know I am, but I don't know if I'm going to kickstart it or just wait for the retail version, because I already have the retail of the base game, and the retail version of the base game there's still things I haven't unlocked in it.
Yeah. I just have to say, no, it's some great games being discussed tonight. For all that it's worth, and I appreciate it.
Except Etherfields.
Yeah, well, they all can't be winners. I'm looking down because I'm just double checking to make sure I didn't miss anything. But I actually wanted to bring up, we talked about Orbit already, which was on here. I wanted to bring up, I'm torn. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and bring up one that I played. It was a request from my wife to play it actually at dinner one night. This one has been around. It's Ninjitsu. And that's Ninjitsu.
Exclamation. Yes.
Exclamation Ninjitsu. This is one that I forgot how much my family liked this one.
Peter C. Hayward.
Yes. So this is the running joke is anytime I run into a game and I realize it's Peter C. Hayward game, I'm like, maybe I like games from Peter C. Hayward. But
You do.
Honestly, this is, it's got that whole blackjack first to 21 piece going on. But in this game, what's fun is you're playing cards down, either face up or face down, and the cards may have abilities face down, or they might be bombs or traps. And so along the way, one of the actions you can always do on any turn, really it's 3 core actions. You can draw a card, you can play a card, you are actually able to steal a card on every turn from someone. But when you're stealing face down ones. And so when you don't know what those are, those could be a bomb. Those could be something that kind of screws you over. The way this game plays, it plays quick. It's like a 15-minute game. The art is a ton of fun. It comes with, I don't know if it was just my copy, but I have like an expansion with mine. So there's a ton of variety within my set. But yeah, I mean, it's this game that just stood out to me. Now you can combine this, from my understanding, with some of the other games related or adjacent to Ninjitsu. I think, and I'm forgetting which ones they are. So you could potentially
Brains and Scuttle.
Yeah, so you could add things into it with that. But honestly, if you ever see this and it's cheap, like it's just one of these games that I feel like it's a ton of fun. And that's a good example, by the way. You see that bomb logo. Essentially, it has to be played as a secret, means it's face down. Treasures are face up. When someone tries to steal this card, you can discard when you steal this card, you have to discard a card from your hand, but you have to play it face down. But then that snare card, interestingly enough, you play it down, it's only worth a 3. You don't have to play it as a treasure, as a secret. But if you do, and someone steals this, you got to discard all the other cards from your treasures from your collection, and that could destroy you because you could be this close to 21. The thing that's important in this game that I want to point out is, because I want to make sure, I've seen people play it incorrectly, you have to have 21 points at the start of your turn, and that is critical. Just because you get to 21 points means absolutely nothing. You have to survive another round. But the game will end in usually 15 to 20 minutes every time I've played it. It's delightful. I really love it. And it's just, again, from the art to simplicity of the gameplay, learning it was quick when we first did it many, many years ago. And yeah, it's one of these games that randomly my family will say to me, hey, can we play Ninjitsu? So, I'm not thinking about it and they are. So that goes to tell you something fun. So wanted to bring this one up, a little bit older, but yeah, enjoy this one a lot.
Good pick.
Nice. I like the artwork.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I bust this out. This is becoming that category. It's in, if you've all seen my bin, which is in the back behind me somewhere. I've got the bin that's got all the small card games. It's in one of those. So it's very often it's in the one that is actually my favorite small card games, which I have whatever the top 24 small card games in that bin. That's where they go. Anthony, you want to close this out or with one of your last games?
Yeah, I'll do one more real quick. My son recently had a birthday party that you guys were at, and so he got some gifts, as is par for the course for kids' birthday parties, and he got some board games, and one of them we already played. This is a kids' escape room game. This one was called The Escape from the Aquarium, and it's from a publisher that I actually had not heard of before, which is Professor Puzzle Games. And there's no designer specified for this one, but basically this is an escape room game for kids. the way it works is it has these 4 sort of unfoldable envelopes that kind of fold out and then up a little bit. And so contrary to many other of these home escape room games, you basically open all these things at once, like from the outset. You just open everything up and just start looking at stuff. It doesn't really matter what order you solve things in, but everything is available to you at the onset. And so there's these 4 different zones, and it's got this vibe of like, I saw somebody on the forums describe it as this sort of like kids placemat at like a restaurant with all the different like activities on it. So it's kind of like almost like 4 of those. But the items that you find in each one, correspond to other ones. It's not super direct. Now, is this something you're going to get stumped on as, a group of grown-ups? Obviously not. But to watch my son kind of go through most of it on his own with a little help from us, it was a lot of fun. This is not replayable. I will say this is a one-time thing. You do write on some stuff. It has a scratch-off system. So basically, you're trying to escape the aquarium, and to do that, you need all these ingredients to find this recipe for the spell. And essentially, it's after you solve the certain amount of puzzles, you scratch something off, and now you've got this one ingredient. It does employ a similar mechanism that I guess a lot of the exit games do, which is that spinning kind of wheel. And you can see in the picture there, the captain's kind of wheel, and it has those 3 digits on it, right? So everything is finding a 3-digit combination to stuff. So when you think you have the right answer, you scratch off that puzzle, and it'll tell you if you're right or not. And that's basically it. But it had a nice combination of some physical puzzle pieces, some little bit of math, a little bit of logic. It was a nice combination of activities, and I have to say it was a lot of fun. It was my son's first foray into the escape room type of genre, and just as we suspected, we knew that he was going to love it. So this was actually a really good time. I think this publisher has at least one other of these types of games. I believe it's also for kids. But this was good, and hopefully leading to eventually a real life escape room experience with the young boy, because I think he would like that kind of stuff.
Escape from the Museum, was that one of the other ones there?
Yeah. There you go. Click on that. I don't know if that's a kids one or not.
Hang on. I got their website up too. That there's a little bit more detail
Can you
on
open
that too. Yeah.
Right.
Here's their website. Oh,
Heck yeah.
they had the Subway Squeeze.
Yeah, it looks like they're very much about the puzzles. It's very
Yeah,
they're
cool.
Professor Puzzle, of course they're going to be, but it looks like they've got a lot of variety to the style of puzzles that they've.
Yeah, like I said, it was nothing that I had never seen before, but for a first entry into this kind of like genre or subgenre, I guess, of like the escape room thing, it was pretty cool. I would highly recommend it.
Nice.
Very cool.
I would say, ages like maybe 7 to 10 at the most, because again, it's nothing crazy, brain burny, but everything does serve a purpose. And
it says Game Nerd $6 for Escape from the Museum.
Whoa, that's a steal.
Yeah.
Can I note too, this does make me think of, and it's not related in the sense of the game itself, but it's the style of game. It makes me think about the good experience I had with Box 1, and I'm itching to eventually play Box 2 by Neil Patrick Harris, because I really enjoyed
yeah.
Box 1 was just a really good experience overall, and I'm looking forward to seeing if Box 2 lives up to what Box 1 did, because Box 1 was fun.
It's nice to be able to reseal it and give it. I gave it away to Josh after I played it.
Yeah, it's a good one that you can it's something I wouldn't mind having, just because I can have someone else try it and that's fine.
Yeah. Like I said, this one is a one-off, but he did get another escape room, actually, a kids exit game, exit kids line, which is apparently replayable. So you do not like damage anything or mark anything up in that one. So once we get that one to the table, maybe it'll make the rounds to the rest of the children here, children of the channel.
Awesome.
Of the channel.
Oh my God, children of the channel. Well, with that note, I'd say the last call is over. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please stay tuned. Next week, we are going to kick off for more announcements coming. But guys, it's coming. Look at that. Ryan's top 20 board games of all time. Our top 20 series, very quick. I want to let people know we have a big series this year. It's a very big series. I'm excited to announce Dan and Tyler will be representing Comic Book Yeti, are going to be joining for a video. Arwin will be back this year. Danielle will be back. Anthony and I will be back. I believe I will confirm it, but I believe I will be looking at April 16th right now. So I will be marking that down momentarily. And I'm excited to announce too at this moment that Ruel will be joining me for my video. So that will be fun to have Ruel back. And then this is the most important part. At the end of a month, or depending how the month scheduling is go, it could be the first episode of May. But when it comes down to it, community choice. You get a chance to participate as you have the past 2 years. So that top 20 form will be back. Give us your top 20 and help us decide to crown our top 20 board games of all time from the Tabletop Express community. And we appreciate that. But yeah, we have a lot of videos coming your way in top 20 month, which is April. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But with that note, I want to thank everyone for joining. As noted, my name is Chris. Next to me is Anthony. Right below, I guess we're all, they're right down there. That's Ryan. This is the Tabletop Express. This has been Call Board, the live board game call-in show. And on that note, I'm going to ask you all to have a very good night, and we will see you next week as we celebrate Ryan's top 20 board games of all time. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye. That's offensive.